Imagine you've been employed by one of the most storied American institutions for years, maybe even decades, and you even hope to retire from that company someday. Now imagine a company, I don't know, let's call them Boeing. Imagine they told you, hey, guess what? You're fired, and we're shipping your job off to India. But before you take that cardboard box holding walk of shame out of the company for the last time, we're going to force you to train the employees who are taking your jobs before the door hits you where the good Lord split you on your way out for the last time. Well, you don't have to imagine that because that's exactly what's happening at Boeing right now. That's next on Maximus. Greetings everybody, a somewhat cranky Maximus here. And the reason I'm cranky is, well, it's Boeing. And for some reason, it usually is Boeing that makes me cranky. I'm also coming off somewhat of a summer cold, so if the pipes sound a bit stuffy, I apologize. Today's story comes by way of the amazing Pulitzer Prize-winning Seattle Times aerospace reporter Dominic Gates. Dominic Gates is hands down my #1 go-to source for Boeing news. Well, in an all-hands virtual Zoom meeting, Boeing told non-union corporate staff that this month it will begin outsourcing finance and accounting jobs to Tata Consultancy Services in India. Boeing said Tuesday that in the first batch of layoffs, about 150 jobs nationwide will be moved to India this year, with even more American layoffs with jobs going to India next year and even years after that. Boeing says the first layoff notices will go out in October. Boeing issued a statement saying the finance team is planning to lower staffing levels as it simplifies processes, improves efficiency, and shares select work with an outside partner, adding that it will assess future impacts as the process continues in the coming years. According to a senior Boeing finance employee, Boeing's finance group pre-pandemic consisted of about 3,000 employees company-wide, with at least 1,000 of those based in the Puget Sound region. The announcement has shocked many Boeing employees and left them hanging, wondering if and when their jobs will be shipped off to India. Gates reports that Tata managers have been directly consulting with Boeing finance and accounting managers to identify the precise work that the Indian company will take over. Once that's decided, Boeing will notify the individuals who are to be laid off, including some management staff as well. And here is the most sickening part of this whole story, at least in my opinion anyway. Before these employees get axed, they will be tasked with training the Tata Indian personnel to help Boeing manage a smooth transition of the work. And to be sure, this isn't the first time an American company had fired employees train their Indian counterparts when their jobs were also shipped to India. And this isn't the first time Boeing has shipped thousands of jobs to India. Gates reports that the planned layoffs are part of a coordinated broad Boeing effort in recent years to cut non-union corporate jobs. In Boeing's statement, they said several of our corporate functions, including information technology and finance, have implemented changes to streamline their operations, resulting in lower staffing levels in those areas. That push began with moves to get rid of IT work that could be done more cheaply elsewhere and was not seen as central to Boeing's business. In his article, Gates points out that in 2013, Boeing began cutting 1,500 IT positions in the Puget Sound region, and last year it outsourced another batch of IT work to Dell, which uses Indian employees also, eliminating 600 jobs across the company. Also, several years ago, Boeing outsourced a range of low-level financial work to Genpact, a multinational company founded in India with a large presence in that country. Boeing's new Chief Financial Officer, Brian West, who joined the company in August last year, has intensified the focus on cutting financial accounting jobs. In November, he appointed Amy Rodriguez to lead the financial and accounting team, adding a rather revealing extension to her job title, Vice President of Finance and Finance Transformation. Boeing Corporate refers to the transformation as streamlining, but to the affected employees, it's simply downsizing. The downsizing comes as Boeing is scrambling in a tight labor market to hire mechanics to build planes and engineers to design them, following a severe round of frontline job cuts during the global pandemic. As Gates points out, Boeing cut just over 20,000 jobs in 2020, 15,000 of those in Washington state, as a result of the pandemic hitting the company hard. Then last year, it cut a further 1,000 jobs in Washington state. However, this year, as air travel demand returned, and Boeing started to ramp up 737 MAX production in Renton and poured engineering resources into fixing the problems on the 787 and various defense projects, the company finally began rehiring and adding back jobs, mostly in engineering and manufacturing. Boeing said it has significantly increased hiring in engineering and manufacturing as market demand increases, and we drive stability in production and invest in engineering and innovation. Overall, we have expanded the Boeing workforce by about 10,000 employees this year, but that still leaves Boeing down about 10,000 jobs relative to the workforce it had pre-pandemic. Boeing currently has about 3,500 direct employees in India. Boeing has invested more than $200 million in its Bengaluru, India campus, its most significant investment outside the U.S. The company is developing a future avionics manufacturing and assembly capability there, replacing an in-house capability that Boeing abandoned in 2003 and has been attempting to recreate since 2017. Facing a shortage of engineers in the U.S. and with its major engineering center in Moscow closed since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Boeing sees India as a key supplier of engineering talent. Another 7,000 people in India are employed at Boeing suppliers, including the multinational conglomerate Tata Group, headquartered in Mumbai. Boeing this year named Tata Aerospace and Defense India's largest private aerospace manufacturer, a 2022 Supplier of the Year. That Tata division makes aircraft landing gear, doors, vertical fins, floor beams, underwing and overwing panels, fuselages, secondary structures, and tail cones. Tata Consultancy Services, the Tata Group's subsidiary taking over Boeing's financial jobs, is a major IT and financial services consulting company with almost 6,000 employees worldwide. Its market capitalization stands at $140 billion, 60% larger than Boeing's. Okay, so I have thoughts. Let's start with a positive. The fact that Boeing is trying to save money by offshoring the white-collar jobs to invest heavily on the engineering side to make better aircraft, that is clearly an excellent goal because Boeing has been lacking in the engineering department for decades now. However, not only America, but the entire Western world, including everyone within the sound of my voice, has been shipping their citizens' jobs to India, China, Russia, and elsewhere for decades now. And why have they been doing this? Because these countries make better products than the people we have in the West? No. It's because it's just cheaper and allows for more money for shareholders and senior management in thousands of companies all around the globe. You know what? I'll stop there because I could go on ranting about this for hours. But now I want to hear from you. And not only of those in the U.S. who I know are sick and tired of losing jobs to foreign countries, but also those of you in the U.K. and Australia and India too. If anybody's watching in India, I'd love to hear your take on this as well. So please let me know down below. Hey, if you would like to help support the work we do here, you can always find the Buy Me a Coffee and merch links in the description. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and ring the bell. And remember, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time in the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.